As reporters, our job sometimes takes us to places we'd never go otherwise. My colleague Philip Martin is a perfect example. He's been to Tupelo, Mississippi to cover a Ku Klux Klan rally and Mozambique to report on that country's civil war. His most recent assignment brought him to Boston's Lower Blue Hill Avenue for a story on sex trafficking. And as he describes in his report, it didn't take long before he was approached by a prostitute.
Here on Lower Blue Hill Avenue, men drive up and down the street looking to score. It's 30 degrees outside, and one young woman standing at a bus stop in a thin coat approaches my car. A man sitting in a van a block away pays close attention. My guess is that the woman pretending to catch a bus is no older than 17 or 18, but she insists that she's 26.
You are 26 years old?
Yes, I'm 26 years old.
Okay. You don't look 26.
No, but I'm 26. I promise you I won't lie to you.
Okay. How long have you been out?
I just got out here. Yeah, I just got out. Can I get in? Because you really on the main road. Can I get in so we can talk?
The conversation ends when I reveal I'm a reporter. Two survivors of the underground trade.
Well, Philip's full report is available online as part of the WGBH News partnership with the New England Center for Investigative Reporting, which is out with a new investigation finding the state law aimed at cracking down on men who pay for sex is having little impact, while the prostitutes themselves continue to be prosecuted at a much higher rate. Jennifer McKim led the investigation, and she joins us now with more. Well, these statistics are just mind-boggling. So all these prostitutes are still being picked up and put in jail or charged with something, and while the Johns really virtually get nothing.
It's been a problem for so long where women are constantly being picked up more than men. But 2 years ago, the state decided in this landmark sex trafficking legislation that they wanted to change the focus from the women to the men, to go after the buyers, because without the buyers, you won't have sellers, you won't have predatory pimps. So they changed this law to make it tougher, more penalties, more fines, jail, and yet when we looked at it over the last year and a half, really, basically, it's the same old, same old.
You got a couple of statistics on the national level. First the national and then the state. These are arrest records for prostitution.
Exactly. So you have just continuously more women twice are picked up twice as often as men are, both nationally and
consistently
in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, when you think about the numbers, I mean, the women are working. I mean, there's a lot more men out there than women working.
And then let's look at the arrest records for men on this.
Exactly. So the arrest record, so the men are, when they get brought in, so often they get off without even getting a guilty plea. They're just, largely because they're first-time offenders, they're sent off. We found when we looked at even guys who had been caught allegedly going after underage girls, that they found they were not even charged, you know, the basic mandatory $1,000 fee.
So no arrest?
Really,
nothing.
Just like a slap on the wrist.
It's really unbelievable. I mean, even though it's like people say Philip was concerned about having really young girls involved in this, but I think the majority are probably not. So, I mean...
It's really hard to say which, you know, how many, but almost every woman on the street started as an underage girl, and most of them who are out there who are of age generally are either being sort of taken over by men who are pimps who are selling them, or they have terrible drug addiction. So it's a bad scene all around.
I don't want to bring someone else into the discussion. Michael Shively is a researcher who spent the past several years studying the demand side of prostitution. I was listening to Philip's report this morning, and I admit I live in another world, but I guess I was shocked to see that it is still as prevalent as it is.
Which is prevalent? The
demand for prostitution.
Well, it's basically unchecked in most places. So people refer to prostitution as the oldest profession, as a cliche, kind of a throwaway line. The valid part of that is that it's been around for a long time, and people sometimes get frustrated and say, well, we've tried for centuries to do something about it, and it's still here, so let's give up. And the way I look at it is that if you haven't done something that makes sense, or even attacked the cause, which is consumer-level demand, then why would you expect it to go away?
Well, how do you make a negative demand for that?
Well, you can reduce demand by sending the message out that it is driving these serious problems. So, you know, without men handing over money to try to buy sex, you don't get underage prostitution, you don't get child sex trafficking, you don't get any of these problems associated with it. You know, they're the revenue stream for sex trafficking. So, you know, sending that message in a lot of different levels, both on kind of an educational sort of level and also by enforcing the laws that we have.
Why isn't it enforced?
Well, that's so one thing. The first question you asked about, you know, can't believe this is still happening. Actually, in a lot of ways, it's worse because before it was very transparent on the streets, like you saw Philip Martin. But a lot of it now is indoors with technology. Now everybody sets up these dates online. They meet in hotels. They meet in rooms. So it's really hard to catch a John, and that is part of the reason that law enforcement has to, when they do it, it's expensive. It's, you know, they have to use a lot of resources. They have to do these reverse stings where they set up, you know, female officers to pretend to be prostitutes. So it's a lot more work for one thing. But so that's one of the challenges. And then there's also the thing that a lot of people feel like it's a victimless crime. These are adult women. They can do whatever they want. But generally, I remember you saying,
is it a victimless crime?
No, absolutely not. If you look at the life course of a person working in commercial sex, the typical start is as a child, and the different estimates around, you know, anywhere from 12 to 16 years. Even a high estimate that would say an average of 18, that still is saying that roughly half are children. So even very conservative estimates say that the start of selling sex is as a child sex trafficking victim. That's not victimless. As an adult, most women spend some time under the control of a pimp or a trafficker. They don't spend the whole time. So what you see on the street may be a 30-year-old woman without any pimp, and you would say, well, they're there voluntarily. They didn't start out that way, and through different points in their time as in that business, if you want to call it that, they have been outright coerced and defrauded and forced into this.
What did people like Martha Coakley and Dan Conley tell you about why more prosecutions haven't happened?
Basically, there was a long time coming, this law. They worked really hard to pass it. It came without any money. Basically, they've said, we need to do more. We've gotten somewhere, and we need to push harder. We need to educate law enforcement. They're working on creating a statewide John school. So basically, they acknowledge that we've gotten to one point, and we need to go farther.
All right. Jennifer McKinn, Michael Shripley, thanks so much.
It's a pleasure.
All right, well, this story was produced in partnership with the New England Center for Investigative Reporting, a nonprofit investigative unit based at Boston University and here at WGBH. You can find the entire report on our website, WGBHnews.org.